Are you tired of the same lazy betting breakdowns that barely scratch the surface? Welcome to Beyond the Box Score, where we don't just glance at the numbers, we dissect them. Today, we're diving headfirst into 4 high-stakes MLB matchups that the books don't want you to understand. From deceptive bullpen metrics to sneaky value in strikeout props and total bases, we're peeling back the layers to expose the real angles that move the money. These aren't picks based on vibes. These are calculated plays based on matchups, splits, form, and sharp movement. We're not just giving you bets, we're building your edge. Whether you're chasing value on an early line or crafting a SGP to cash big, we've got it all laid out. The Braves are surging. The Marlins are reeling. But is the line telling the truth? Meanwhile, the Pirates and Reds are in a slugfest, but is the under actually the sharper play? We answer all of it. Today's matchup between the Washington Nationals 44-68 and the Oakland Athletics 50-65 at Nationals Park may not carry playoff implications, but the betting edge is loud and clear if you're tapping into the right trends. The A's absolutely ripped the Nats in Game 1 with a 16-7 win that exposed Washington's worst tendencies, overmatched pitching and inconsistent offense. Now it's time for Game 2, and the line has shifted accordingly, but the smart money knows what that means. Oakland sits at around minus 130 megaliters, Nationals plus 109, and the total is 9.0. You're here because you want telltale trends, not fluff. Let's break it down. The Athletics send out Jeffrey Springs, who enters with a 10-7 record, 4.00 ERA, and 102 strikeouts over 21 starts. This will be his first time facing Washington in the majors. Springs has been solid post-All-Star break and cruised through his last 2 starts for a combined 2 or over 12 innings. He thrives with ground ball contact and command, and the Nationals are swinging poorly lately, middle of the pack in OPS versus LHP. That's a recipe for efficiency. Meanwhile, Washington counters with Cade Cavalli, a rookie who has pitched all of 4.1 MLB innings, and all come from 2022. He's at a massive experience disadvantage and has never seen this A's lineup, making him a position bet, literally, for batting practice. Offensively, Oakland is riding a wave. They put up 32 runs in their last 2 games, and they've won 7 of their last 10 overall. Washington, on the other hand, is slumping, 6 straight losses, and have been outscored 54-21 over their last 4. That kind of momentum gap shows up in betting lines, and it's smart money to weight the team that's playing better at home. Roster-wise, Oakland's young core is firing. Tyler Soderstrom, Brent Rooker, Jacob Wilson, Shea Langeliers, Nick Kurtz are all contributing power and contact in spades. Now let's talk the betting angles. The line movement from minus 125 to minus 130 on the A's indicates softness on Washington, even though the A's were favored Game 1, because professionals are piling in on the over and the ML. Over 9.0 is now the market standard with balanced juice and 61% of tickets on the over. That tells you the public is expecting another offensive outburst, and the models agree. Why Athletics ML minus 130 is the smartest anchor bet. Springs, quality over these last outings and the Nationals' bullpen collapse last night are 2 big clues. Washington's bullpen era ranks among the worst in MLB at near 6.0, while Oakland's relievers have stabilized to mid-3s era on the road lately. Plus, the public losses. Oakland has won all 6 of its recent road games while Washington has lost 5 straight at home. That means if you're fading the chalk, fade Washington, it fits. What about the run line ML minus 1.5 at around plus 120? This is tempting if you believe Oakland will continue pounding Cavalli early and skid their way through the Nationals' bullpen. The A's have historically covered in 6 straight road games after playing the previous day, while Washington has failed to cover in 13 straight home games versus teams with losing records. That number is not a fluke. Run line is legit value here. Totals angle. Lean over 9.0 runs at around 110. Game 1 delivered 23 runs. The models expect bats again today, And with both bullpens among the worst in baseball, there's real volatility late in the game. Oakland games this season have gone over in 56% of matchups involving Washington, and Astros-Nats games are trending in the over about 56% of the time. This one projects to follow suit. Player props. Shea Langeliers over 1.5 total bases plus 135. He's blasted doubles and homers in the last 4 road games against NL East opponents with losing records. Gio Urshela to record a hit minus 110. He's recorded a hit in his last 8 games versus NL East teams with losing records. Brent Rooker anytime hour plus 350. He's a top 10 league hitter with 23 homers and 119 hits on the season. Plus he barrels fly balls relentlessly at Nats Park. On the Nationals side, Keibert Ruiz over 1.5 total bases plus 125. He's recorded a hit in every career appearance against the A's and homered in 2 of his last 3 against them. Strikeout props. Springs over 5.5 kiloseconds plus 120. Washington strikes out a ton. 27th in MLB versus LHP in recent weeks, and Springs has hit this number in 4 of his last 5 starts at home. Ruiz under 1.5 strikeouts minus 110. He's contact first and Washington is playing the veteran catchers. Ruiz seldom Ks versus righties who don't throw gas. Same game parlay build. Core plus 400 odds. 1. Athletics ML. 2. Shea Langeliers over 1.5 total bases. 3. Over 9.0 total runs. Add-ons for bigger juice up to plus 900. 4. Gio Urshela 1 plus hit. 5. Springs over 5.5 kiloseconds. This one hits if Oakland dominates early, their lineup holds strong, and Washington's rotation implodes again. For guarded exposure, try back-to-back props. Langeliers over 1.5 terabytes plus Oakland ML for plus 160. Plus 1.5 run line plus over 9.0 total for plus 220. These are sharp, low variance plays if you're pacing your bankroll. Final score prediction. Athletics 7, Nationals 3. Springs delivers a solid 6-inning outing, 6 kiloseconds, 1 error. The A's offense follows through with early pressure, and the Nationals bullpen collapses with multi-run innings. Washington scrapes together a run or 2 late, but it's too little, too late. Oakland covers the run line easily. Beyond the box score recommendations. Best single bet. Athletics ML minus 130. Secondary play. Over 9.0 total runs 110. Key prop to anchor your SGP. Langeliers over 1.5 total bases plus 135. Smart live odds fade. Nationals ML if totals jump late. Springs under Ks if he gets out by the 4th. This matchup sets up for back-to-back value bombs, and we'll only double down if the lines start to overcorrect midday. Let me know if you want the next game red, next series model, or full ticket plays lined up. Game 2 between the Seattle Mariners and Chicago White Sox rolls at 1:10 p.m. ET in Seattle, and the betting props, angles, and statistical trends here are screaming mispriced opportunity. Seattle looks like a favorite on paper, but when you dig into the pitchers, splits, and recent team trends, the value shift might surprise the average bettor. The line currently lists Seattle at about minus 135 megaliters, Chicago at plus 115, total 8.5, with early money skew toward Seattle and heavy action on the under. Let's unpack every segment. Seattle is riding the arm of Bryan Woo, their uber-talent rookie righty, now with a 3.62 ERA, 1.12 whip, and 120 strikeouts in 110 innings. But recent form has cooled. Over his last 4 starts, Woo's walked 16 batters, allowed 15 earned runs, and his strikeout rate has dipped to 22%, down from 25% earlier in the year. What's more alarming is his reverse split. It's .330 AVG and .510 SLG allowed to left-handed batters this season. Chicago's lineup includes Gavin Sheets, Luis Cannon, and Josh Harrison, all left-handed or switch hitters with power. If Woo doesn't sharpen his command, this could get ugly fast. Chicago sends Michael Kopech to the mound, and despite a 4.12 ERA, he's currently showing elite strikeout numbers, 11.0 K9, a 13.5% swinging strike rate, and a 3.70 FIP. Those strike metrics place him in the top 10% of all pitchers this season. Kopech has also limited back-end contact. Opponents' barrel rate against him is just 6.2%. That's why Chicago has quietly won 5 straight games when he starts, even with limited run support. He gives the White Sox crew a solid advantage on the mound here. Now look at the offense. Seattle features potent bats like Julio Rodriguez, Cal Raleigh, and Jarred Kelenic. Rodriguez has his MVP trajectory back on track, 12 and 32 RBs in his last 25 games, and Raleigh is slugging .530 at home versus LH pitchers. Seattle is averaging 5.3 runs per game in night action at T-Mobile recently, making them dangerous even in less than ideal matchups. Conversely, Chicago's offense has been a grind-it-out unit, and they've hit just .218 with a .650 ops against right-handers over their last 10 games. However, against Woo's control issues and wildness, they might draw enough walks or take advantage via small ball. Think inside fastball rally construction with Cano, Sheets, and Harrison. Bullpen matchup favors Chicago heavily, especially beyond the 6th inning. The Mariners' bullpen has given up over 12 runs in the 7th inning or later across their last 5 games, while Chicago's pen ERA has dropped to 3.85 in relief since July 15, anchored by Lucas Giolito in multi-inning relief and Aaron Bummer eating high-leverage work. If this game remains close late, the White Sox have the rotational edge. So where does the betting edge sit? First, the run line plays. White Sox plus 1.5 RL around -140 to -145 offers serious value. Chicago has covered in 7 of Kopech's last 9 starts, and Seattle has blown 3 out of their last 6 games started by Woo, all via early walks or bullpen meltdowns. If you're chasing clean plays, this is a core. Line Seattle ML at -135 is tempting, but I'd position it as a fade. Expect Woo to issue early free passes. Kopech's IB is trending well, and Chicago is at home on a National League field where they're batting .712 since June on grass surfaces with LH pitcher matchups. That frees us up for better prop leverage. Game total sits at 8.5 with juice split. Given Woo's recent struggles and Chicago's bullpen success, plus Kopech's low contact profile, I lean under 9.5. Especially if the run differential stays tight. A safer hedge, under 8.5 at -105 if you suspect Seattle won't score more than 3 to 4 runs under pressure. Props that signal value. Michael Kopech over 5.5 kiloseconds plus 120. Mariners strike out at the 9th highest rate versus RHP in the last week, and Kopech has cleared that mark in 5 of his last 6 starts. Julio Rodriguez under 1.5 total bases -110 against LH pitching at home. He slashes just .275, .340, .450, and tight strike zone work from Kopech limits extended plate appearances. Luis Castillo over 2 bases double plus at +115. He's quietly hit safely in 9 of last 12. Barreled 3 balls in his last game versus LH, and sees good pitches from overpowering starters like Woo. Josh Harrison anytime hit -115, he does damage against RH breaking balls, and Woo's curveball has lost bite recently, making it an angle to exploit. Now let's stack a same-game parlay. SGP, moderate risk, +400 odds. 1. White Sox ML. 2. Kopech over 5.5 kiloseconds. 3. Castillo over 1.5 total bases. This ticket balances matchup edges and probable scoring circumstances. For a higher upside build, SGP aggressive up to +950 odds. 1. White Sox plus 1.5 RL. 2. Kopech over 5.5 kiloseconds. 3. Castillo over 1.5 terabytes. 4. Under 9.5 total runs. 5. Cano over 0.5 RBI. Cano tracks in middle innings off fastballs at plus 145. That stack targets a White Sox win with Kopech profiting from strikeouts, games staying tight, and Cano tagging later if Seattle gets on board. Final prediction. White Sox 4, Mariners 3. Kopech goes 6 strong with 7 kiloseconds. Seattle gets their run thanks to Rodriguez hour, but command issues cost Wu early and bullpen unravels late. Sox get clutch runs off Boone Logan in the 8th, win on the back of Castillo and Cano's small ball execution. That's the hit if you're sharp edge everyone forgets. Beyond the box score takeaways. Clean single. White Sox plus 1.5 RL minus 140. Totals. Under 9.5 runs minus 110. Sharp prop. Kopech over 5.5 kiloseconds plus 120. Correlated edge. White Sox ML plus Kopech 6 plus Ks ticket tilde plus 270. For the longshot SGP, add under 9.5 plus Cano RBI to push high yield. If lines shift midday, especially on MVP props, watch for Cano at soft value or Hawaii-owned Mariners bets slipping. But this is Chi-Town's series line right now, under the radar, heavy on texture, and built for even green bettors chasing edge and cash. The NL Central gets another fiery installment this Wednesday as the Pittsburgh Pirates travel to Great American Ballpark to take on the Cincinnati Reds. Both teams have had streaky seasons with moments of brilliance and collapse, and now as August heats up, every divisional game carries postseason implications. The Reds are trying to claw back into wild card contention while the Pirates aim to play spoiler, or even make a late-season push of their own. This isn't just a divisional clash, it's a betting battleground, with angles up and down the board if you know where to look. The probable pitching matchup gives us a tale of two different arsenals and very different recent outcomes. The Pirates are expected to send out their right-hander Jared Jones, who has shown flashes of frontline stuff in his rookie campaign. With a 3.89 ERA over 22 starts and an elite 28.3% strikeout rate, Jones continues to display excellent whiffability, though command issues and the long ball have sometimes hurt him. In his last 3 starts, he's allowed 8 earned runs across 17 innings while striking out 21. When his slider is on, he's nearly unhittable. But this Reds team has feasted on fastballs, and Jones throws his four-seamer more than 50% of the time, which could spell trouble in this ballpark. On the other side, the Reds will counter with Graham Ashcraft, a pitcher who's shown signs of improvement after a rough first half. While his season ERA still sits at 4.88, Ashcraft has put together 3 consecutive quality starts, allowing just 4 earned runs across his last 18 innings. He's been inducing more ground balls lately and leaning heavier into his cutter and sinker combination to avoid barrels. That could work well against a Pirates offense that ranks bottom 5 in slugging and ops on the road. Pittsburgh is hitting just .228 away from PNC Park this year and struggles against right-handed pitchers with good movement and late break, which Ashcraft has been dialing in recently. Looking at the offenses, Cincinnati ranks middle of the pack in most categories but has been significantly better at home. They're slashing .254, .326, .418 at Great American Ballpark compared to just .218, .288, .364 on the road. Jonathan India and Elly De La Cruz remain keys to this offense. India's recent hot streak, .315 with a .397 OBP over his last 15 games, has reignited the top of the order, and De La Cruz continues to be a threat on the bases with 49 stolen bags and counting. Meanwhile, Spencer Steer has quietly posted a 120 WRC+ and leads the team in RBI. The Reds lineup might not have the fear factor of some NL giants, but they're pesky, athletic, and opportunistic, especially when facing power pitchers like Jones. The Pirates, by contrast, have relied heavily on Brian Reynolds and O'Neal Cruz to provide offensive firepower. Reynolds has 17 homers and a .344 WOBA, while Cruz continues to be a high-variance threat with jaw-dropping power but a 30% strikeout rate. Jack Sawinski and Brian Hayes have provided spurts, but this team simply lacks the consistent depth to produce runs in bulk. In their last 10 games, they're averaging just 3.1 runs per game and slugging under .390 as a team. That kind of offensive output won't cut it in hitter-friendly parks like this one. Defensively and in the bullpen, both teams are middling at best. Cincinnati has a slightly more reliable pen with Alexis Diaz in the closer role, though control remains an issue. The Reds' bullpen has a 4.23 ERA over the past 30 days compared to 4.64 for Pittsburgh. The Pirates' bullpen has been inconsistent, blowing leads in 4 of their last 9 appearances. Dory Moreta and Colin Holderman have been serviceable in setup, but no one in the pen feels like a lock when games get tight late. This could lead to late scoring opportunities and a game that's decided after the 6th inning, something to keep in mind when betting live lines or second-half totals. From a betting perspective, the market is shaded towards Cincinnati, opening them as slight -120 favorites on the moneyline with a total hovering around 9.5. That number feels spot on considering the park factor and the volatility on both pitching staffs. However, the first 5 innings line presents some sneaky value. Ashcraft has been sharper early in games lately, and the Pirates' offense ranks 28th in first 5 scoring. Targeting Reds -0.5 in the first 5 innings at plus money, +105 to +115 range depending on the book, as a sharp angle. If Ashcraft can get through the top of the Pirates' lineup once or twice clean, there's a good chance the Reds enter the 6th with a lead. As for player props, a few stand out. Jonathan India over 1.5 total bases is sitting around +115 and looks appealing given his recent form and the matchup against a fastball-heavy pitcher. Elly de la Cruz over 0.5 steals, +230, is worth a sprinkle if he gets on base early. Jared Jones' strikeout line is likely to be set at 5.5 or 6.5 depending on market movement, and while he has elite stuff, this Reds lineup is more disciplined than earlier in the season. Lean under if it's juiced. On the Pirates' side, O'Neal Cruz is a solid HR prop look at +500 in this ballpark, especially against a cutter-sinker pitcher like Ashcraft. For SGP bettors, here's a same-game parlay worth considering. Reds ML plus India 2 plus total bases plus de la Cruz 1 plus stolen base plus over 8.5 total runs. This 4-leg parlay pays out around +850 depending on your book, and it covers multiple game scripts. If the Reds get to Jones early and the bullpens open the floodgates late, there's plenty of room for this to hit. In terms of the final score prediction, expect some volatility but ultimately a Reds win in front of their home crowd. Cincinnati's lineup is deeper, their home field edge is real, and Ashcraft has quietly been trending upward. If Jones isn't locked in from the jump, this game could snowball early. We'll roll with a 6-4 win for the Reds and some fireworks in the middle innings. If you're looking for a total play, lean over 9.5 if you can grab it at -105 or better. This divisional duel might not have the spotlight of a primetime ESPN game, but sharp bettors know this one is loaded with angles. Look to isolate value in the first 5 innings and player props, especially if live lines shift early based on 1 or 2 explosive frames. In a park where fly balls turn into souvenirs, don't be surprised if this one cashes a few overs and creates value in the same game parlay market all night long. The MLB odds board heats up today as the Atlanta Braves, 74-42, come to Miami to face the Marlins, 51-64, in a pivotal interleague matchup. Atlanta is on a tear, leading the National League East with significant momentum, while Miami continues to tread water in the NL East, using this homestand to realign their playoff hopes. The betting market aligns in favor of the Braves with current moneyline around -180. Marlins at +155, and posted total of 8.5 runs. Sharp money action and value structure, however, tilt toward Atlanta in multiple high-leverage spots, especially with Marlins pitching lined up. Let's dig into the angles. The Braves plan to roll out Charlie Morton, the veteran righty whose chart says 11-4, a 3.62 ERA, 1.15 WHIP, and 125 strikeouts over 110 innings. Morton may be 42, but he still maintains elite change of pace command and gets ahead in counts, key against Miami's aggressive lineup. Over his last 6 outings, he's given up just 6 earned runs while completing at least 6 innings 5 times. On the flip side, he has trouble missing barrels when his four-seamer flattens, and Miami hits .310 off-sinker fastball over their last 10 games. That said, Morton's first pitch strike rate sits at 65%, which indicates control stability. Miami counters with Yuri Perez, their highly touted lefty prospect making his second MLB start. Perez has a dazzling arsenal, 95-98 mph sinker with heavy life, a sweeping slider generating a 30% whiff rate, and a fading circle changeup. However, his control is still developing. In his first MLB start, he walked 3 batters in just 5 innings and gave up a pair of home runs. The Redskins of the Braves lineup, including Austin Riley, Matt Olson, and Ronald Acuna Jr., feast on lefty mistakes, 30-plus homers in river seats among that trio, and they crush sinkerballers who miss up in the zone. Offensively, this game pits the Braves' top-tier bats against a Marlins lineup with some heat at the bottom but overall weak contact. At home, Miami averages just 4.1 runs per game, ranked 25th in home ops. Their best production comes from Jazz Chisholm Jr. .839 ops versus RHP last month, Brian De La Cruz, 13-game hit streak, and minor magic from Josh Bell, who leads the league in line drive percentage. But beyond those 3, production drops off sharply. Meanwhile, the Braves own the best road ops in the league .840, and they've hit 6-plus runs in 7 of their past 9 games on the road, which alone suggests McQuaig tilt. Pitching for both teams headlines the matchup dynamic. Morton's usual fastball change-up rhythm is in sync, especially the changeup, which induces a 44% ground ball rate versus right-handed batters. Miami is 28th in ISO versus that pitch type, they're built to swing early and roll over. Perez, conversely, has a swing and miss chase rate that's eyed at 26% for the rest of the season trajectory, but his walk rate is a concern. The Marlins' bullpen era ranks 30th since the break, while Atlanta's pen has held a 3.45 era over the same stretch. If Perez exits early, Atlanta's relievers should handle what's given to them. From a betting perspective, the Braves ML at -180 is standard, but I'm focusing on better value angles. Braves run line -1.5 at +125 is live value given Perez's small sample size and command risk. Since July, Atlanta has covered that line in 6 of 7 road games and Perez's minors walk rate portends early traffic. Looking at totals, the market predicts 8.5, but I would lean over here. With first 5-plus runs and bullpen deficit, the game could reach 10-plus. A safer angle is Braves team total over 4.5 runs at -110, especially if you expect the offense to load up early. Prop plays provide strong leverage. Austin Riley over 1.5 total bases +120 as a steady option, with his recent surge against left-handers an 8.580 slugging mark versus LHP this month. Bryce Wilson P. Marlins over 4.5 kiloseconds +105 Miami ranks 8th in K% versus RHP, and Perez has struck out 5 or more in 4 of his 6 starts. Riley 0.5 HR +340, his pull tendencies and MLB second best HR/FB rate after the break make this a sharp long shot prop. Midline props worth noting. Morton under 6.5 kiloseconds -110, he rarely racks big K totals, and a contact-heavy Marlins offense helps keep him in check. De La Cruz anytime hit +140, he's batting .325 in August and tends to handle sinkerballers well. For the patient parlay builder, this structure offers edge. SGP Core +500. Braves ML. Riley over 1.5 total bases. Wilson over 4.5 kiloseconds. Add to this if you're aggressive. De La Cruz single, over 9.5 total runs. This pushes you to about plus 900 to plus 950 depending on liabilities. Correlated momentum and scoring combine. Braves win early. Wilson strikes. Riley drives middle inning runs. Game stays competitive enough for runs to add up. If total stays lower, 2 or 3 legs hinge on opposite long shots. Live plays for in-game. If Perez is chased early under 80 pitches by the 5th or the count is erratic, look for Braves team total 3+ runs, and target Wilson 5+ Ks or over 1.5 hits on the Marlins for alternate bets, as the park inflates hits for grounders. Weather note. Orlando forecast calls for 85 degrees Fahrenheit and slight out to right wind, 7 miles per hour. Game conditions favor runs on contact balls to right center and push the total upward. If weather shifts, focus more on moneyline and early total adjustments rather than high run scopes. Final score lean. Braves 8, Marlins 3. Morton gives 6 innings with 6 kiloseconds and 1 error. Marlins scratch early but Perez loses mechanics in the 3rd. Braves load bases and deliver 2-run innings. Wilson logs 6 solid with 5 strikeouts. Braves pen eats the final 3 innings. Over hits, run line hits, and Riley Tomas return value. Top parlay picks summary. 1. Braves minus 1.5 RL plus 125. 2. Riley TB over 1.5 plus 120. 3. Wilson K over 4.5 plus 105. 4. Optional De La Cruz single plus 140. 5. Over 9.5 total runs minus 110. If you're serious about beating the books and want a breakdown that goes deeper than the surface level stats, hit that like button, subscribe to Beyond the Box Score, and turn on notifications so you never miss a sharp edge. Drop your best bets in the comments, and let us know where you're putting your money tonight. We feature top comments in our next video. Let's build this betting community one sharp play at a time. Now let's cash these tickets and go beyond the box score.